all the great acharyas teach us these wonderful lessons. How to become free of false pride. This is the toughest. Well, I can speak for myself anyway. But it seems to me this is the toughest of all the coverings of the soul. The engagement of this false ego, or this perceptivity of seeing things in relationship with Krishna. And of course the Nalakavar and Manigriva, they were lucky. Krishna was right there. They were seeing him in the courtyard. And although they stood there for 1,000 years, they had the real benediction was that they had the opportunity to see Krishna. So we also have that opportunity to see Krishna. So if we follow this system of, you can say, austerity, 4 regulative principles, chanting 16 rounds, living in the association of devotees, we also sometimes we may experience some austerity. And like this, try to, as best we can, mold our lives with the spiritual master's instructions in the center, trying to spread Krishna consciousness to others. Like this, we have the beautiful opportunity to associate with Radha and Ishwar and chant the holy names of Krishna. This way we're associating with Krishna in so many ways, and our lifestyle is perfectly arranged. Prabhupada's given the perfect arrangement for this age. Our acharyas have given a life of what is called austerity, but it's a very wonderful life. We have so much opportunity to be connected with Krishna. And this activity itself, this process itself, this association itself, purifies our hearts. And gradually, Krishna is giving us this opportunity, his devotees are giving us this opportunity to come closer and closer towards him. And we'll take away that false ego. We'll take it away. Not the real ego, the real ego of seeing ourselves as being eternal separate of Krishna. And seeing everything in relationship with Krishna. It's a wonderful path, because we don't have to give up even things which are very maybe attached to, we may be very inspired by doing. They can be engaged. Rupa Goswami's practice of renunciation was of a different kind. It wasn't giving up things that can be used in Krishna's service, but rather Nibandha Krishna Sambandhi Yukta Varadi Machiti. But rather engaging everything in Krishna's service. This is the expertise. This is how we're expert, by utilizing our talents in Krishna's service. Maybe a little bit of time is there sometimes just to become a little bit more Krishna conscious and to understand how they can be utilized in Krishna's service without becoming too overwhelmed by them. Sometimes devotees, especially with music, for instance, natural musical tendencies are there amongst many devotees. We just have to be careful we don't get overwhelmed again with a false pride. I'm a good musician, and sometimes we get too carried away. Bound to be there to some extent, not too much. So sometimes Krishna restricts us until we're a little bit ready, and then all these things can be used nicely. When we understand that they are Krishna's mercy, they are coming from Krishna. Everything is coming from Krishna. Everything should be utilized in Krishna's service. Otherwise we'll lose it. If we don't use it, or if we abuse it, we'll lose it. So we have to use these things, we have to use them properly in Krishna's service. Otherwise we may also have to spend a little longer, maybe another lifetime in this material world or more, until we come to realize that whatever we have is really Krishna's mercy upon us. And if we use it in his service nicely, then we'll be happy. If we don't use it in his service, we will not be happy. If we think it's mine, think that we're proud of what other people may think of us, we want respect, so we have to cultivate this mood of seeing everything as the mercy of my spiritual master, the mercy of Krishna. I was reading this morning, Srila Prabhupada said that when the devotee was praising Srila Prabhupada, and Prabhupada said that was actually, we've heard this before, but Srila Prabhupada said, I have no credit at all. The credit is that I studied. I hear attentively my instructions of my spiritual master, and I try to repeat those instructions. This is my only credit. and otherwise nothing. So we submit ourselves, we surrender ourselves as humility to the instruction of our spiritual master, try to apply it in our lives. This way we'll be actually happy, and not making this effort to try to adjust the material world all the time for our happiness, and becoming intoxicated with false pride, so on and so forth. This will not make us all happy. So this point being mentioned here to help us to free us from this false ego, or various other kinds of reactions and attachments in this world. But Prabhupada is mentioning here that cultured persons would always, at a certain point of their life, they would give up their engagements, particularly the Kshatriyas and the Vaishyas, of course. The Brahmins would already be engaged, should be engaged already in activities of spiritual activity. They may sometimes take sannyas. Other than that, they're already engaged in spiritual activity. But the Kshatriyas and the Vaishyas are sometimes implicated. It's not surprising, considering the nature of their occupations. But they were recommended that at a certain age, Panchasodha and Janananda rejected, they would renounce their positions to show that even God himself, sometimes you can see examples, sometimes he appears in this world, whatever it may be, as Lord Kapila Dev and others. They also show that the path of renunciation is a necessary path for all, one way or another. In this age, that type of renunciation, going to the forest or the mountains, is not so recommended. The path in this age is Sankirtan Yoga. So, but somehow or another, this is we have to perform austerity one way or another, even though it may not appear to be particularly austere in terms of previous ages. We have to do, if we want to get freed, because by following this path, the Lord becomes pleased, and he helps us and frees us from our entanglement. We cannot get free ourselves. It's the mercy of Krishna. And by applying ourselves to the path which he's given us, this is the path, this is the way that we get freed. He delivers us from this material entanglement. Okay, we'll finish there. Are there any questions or comments?
Janananda Prabhu, Radha-Krishna.
Well done.
I'm giving class in Bhaktivinoda Manor. I was a new devotee in 1977.
Wow.
And in the room there, it's very nice to see you now. I saw you here when you came back from India. I bought one of your books from you, didn't I? About the animals in Krishna consciousness. And very nice about that cow that was had acid thrown over it by the Muslims. He went to the temple there and with the other cows there. It was a devotee cow. Only book that was you writing the dog in Krishna consciousness, and the other animals. I gave it to a friend of mine who keeps dogs all her life, and she's very pleased to have it. And you're a wonderful devotee, Janananda. You're still here after all these years. Fantastic, you know. Nanda and Richard Zavira and Brahmadev is still.
Zavira Prabhu is really
he's not well. He lost his daughter, didn't he, back in St. College apparently. He slid down the slide in Hungary.
All of us go through various experiences in life. Some of them are not easy.
You're looking more, Mark. You're looking more, though. You're hanging in there.
Hanging in there.
Hanging in there.
We're hanging in there.
That's all you can do, you know.
We're getting.
We're all getting on in years, but sorry to take over. It's nice to see you. I've just come to see.
We'll talk more in a minute. We'll have a chat.
God.
Are you going to be here for breakfast?
Well, not necessarily. No, not necessarily.
Why don't you stay and we'll have a little chat.
Well, your time is important, but I'll give you my phone number, Marge, and I'd like to get in contact with you that way. Because I can't see myself moving to the temple, Marge.
Nam Sankirtan, I remember we used to go on Transcendental Sankirtan. So we were selling records, but we were giving books to everyone at the same time.
We were.
We were in, I know we're up north in Newcastle, Northumberland. And Nam Sankirtan was one of the biggest book distributors.
One of them.
Yeah, we used to distribute so many books.
I learnt from Radhamanda's brother, Radhamananda.